Good evening. What's another episode of Inside Sports with Rashad Mitchell, episode number 46. Let's get into it, man. I know kind of late. Usually the show comes out at 8 o'clock, but it's going to be a short show. Maybe go a little bit over 9 o'clock. But anyway, let's get into the Final Four. The women's, congrats to the UConn Huskies. They're back on top, man. Back on top of the college basketball world for as the women are concerned. They won their championship. They dominated, blew out University of South Carolina. So there'll be no repeat for them as they won. Um, see what the score was, 82 to 59. That's a dominant performance, just like they beat them back in February. The same result, just domination from that perspective. So give credit to Connecticut. They're back on top. It's been a long time coming. So give credit to Connecticut. They're back on top. They're back on top of the world. And it's been a long time since 2016. That's the last time they won a national championship. When you talk about the University of this kind of team in Connecticut, they usually being the chase for the national championship, but it's been a long time since they won a national championship. So for them to win a championship is very refreshing for them. And if you're a fan of UConn, definitely got a great treat, great domination by University of Connecticut, doing it against South Carolina, who's always been a big time program, obviously, but John Steady. They was trying to make it 3 out of 4 championships. They have a dynastic run, but you can't call it a dynasty with them not winning their third in 4 years. They're a big time program, but they fell short and they got dominated, man. It's like they got dominated, like I said, when they played each other back in February. They snapped that long winning streak, but they won like 71 games at home, South Carolina, and they got blown out. So it's good to see UConn win and Gino Oyama now he's what they got 12 championships. So he just stocking himself up as one of the greatest coaches in sports, women's or men's sports. That's great success to lead a bunch of women and be successful at it. So let's go back to national semifinals. 74-57 was the final score with South Carolina. They won that game. And UConn about UCLA 85-51. And the thing about UConn, they was dominant in these finals four matchups. They put up 85 points against UCLA and they put up 82 points against University of South Carolina, defending champs. And they dominated a wide margin of victory. They won by 34 points against UCLA last Friday, and they win by 23 points. So they dominated, won convincingly. So let's get into Sunday's game, UConn versus South Carolina again. UConn wins 82 to 59, dominant performance. They're back on top, 12th national championship with Gino Oyama, and obviously 12 championships for the program. Dominant performance. Sarah Strong had 24 points, 10 to 15 shooting, and this dominance across the board. And they deserve to win. Uh, Ashley Fudd, she had 24 points. She was the most outstanding player of the Final Four. It's been a long time coming, like I said. Um, Paige Beckers had 17 points. She ends her career on a great note. It's been 9 years since they won the championship, and they now are champions of college basketball. It's the longest drought in a long, long time since Rega Lobo and Jen Rosati won it in 1995. It's a long drought, 9 year drought. So it's been a dominant program. It's just been a long time coming. So South Carolina, man, it's hard to repeat. See how they handle coming back next year. They were trying to make it 3 out of 4 years. Have like a dynastic run, but did not happen. So it was just too much for. It was too much Connecticut, man. South Carolina couldn't handle them. Was talent wise, couldn't handle them. So congrats to Connecticut. Now let's get to the men's Final Four. Where interesting games. First and foremost, Auburn versus Florida. Where Florida beat Auburn 79-73. Clayton Jr. had 34 points. This guy had a great tournament with his play. 34 points, doing his thing, 5 3-point shots. Gave him the first consecutive 30-point game this deep in the tournament since Larry Bird did it. They won 79-73 over Auburn, and they was able to get the job done and advance to the championship game. So no team has against the leading scorer in the NCAA tournament. He is the first player with 30-point games, both in the Elite Eight and semifinals, since Larry Bird did in 1979. And they was able to rally. That's what they do best. Is they know how to come back. Um, he scored 13 points. Obviously, it was 20 points against UConn. He hit two late threes previous Sunday against Texas Tech. He put up big time performance again. Driving late with 2:24 to go in the national semifinals on possession right after Alex Condon, the Australian big man, drew a charge from Janai Broom. And again, they just know how to get it done, know how to rally, know how to stick together and find ways to get the job done. And this game was a good game. Had 8 lead changes and 6 ties. The first 11:02 of the game. So very competitive game, good game, and give credit where it's due to the University of Florida to advance and win the game. Because Auburn had an 8-point lead at halftime, 46-38. And this is the thing about Florida; they know how to come back and rally and get the job done. He was able to do it, so give him credit for that. Then the second game was a fantastic comeback by Houston um, against Duke. They won by a score of 70-67. This is a game that Duke should have won this game, and but they just did not execute down the stretch. That's the difference because they was down 14 points. At the final in the final 8 minutes, they wiped that out and they were able to win the game. They did with defense. Um, they held Duke to one field goal over the last 10.5 minutes, and also Duke 6-7 points. 6-7 points was the second lowest output of the season. So again, great comeback to get the job done and win and advance. So they showed why defense wins championships, why they were the best at allowing the fewest points in the country. So Duke had their chances, but they fell short. They was able to advance to the national championship game and win this game in advance, the championship game. Also, they held Duke to 37.5% shooting in the second half. So it was a fantastic comeback by University of Houston coming back like they did. Great comeback. All right. 76-7 was the final score. So let's get into the national championship game. Now this was heartbreaker and loss for Houston. Houston had a chance to win the national championship. And they fell short. They had a 12-point lead. It's like deja vu all over again for them. The role reversal because they rallied against Duke, trailing by 14 points. Then you win that game, but then you come back and play in the national championship game. You up 12 points, but you lose that game. So it's like what goes around comes around kind of thing. You know what I'm saying? Houston had a big rally against Duke, and they had now Florida. They've been rallying a lot in this tournament. They was able to rally against Houston, despite their defense of Houston's and their prowess. They was able to win 65-63 to be the national champions. Clayton finished with 11 points all in the second half. He played a good credit to Houston, but he's able to make some key baskets in the second half to get the job done. And for the Cougars, they just didn't execute down the stretch, turn the ball over. They just didn't get the job done. Give credit to University of Florida. They knew how to bounce back. They didn't panic. They knew it was a matter of time for to get the job done. Elijah Martin hit 2 free throws to put Florida up 64-63. So great job by them. It's a tough loss for Kelvin Sampson as a coach. Could have been the oldest coach to win a national championship. Meanwhile, Golden, the coach of Florida, he's became the youngest since Jimmy Barbano did it in 1983. So it's just a tough loss for the Cougs who came back from 14 down against Duke. And then you have a 12-point lead, and Florida comes back from a 12-point deficit, and they win the game. You know what I'm saying? But give credit where it's due to Florida, man. They know how to bounce back. They've been rallying all tournament long. They're never out of the game. They showed that. Clayton made some big time shots, but just poor execution by the offense of Houston down the stretch. Turn the ball over. They couldn't get off a shot. You know that on the last sequence of the game. But for the Gators, man, they know how to come back. It was the fourth comeback in six March Madness wins for the Gators. They led this game for a total of 64 seconds. So it shows you how they know how to come back and bounce back. Will Richard had 18 points. It's the third national championship for the Gators. The coach, his name was Todd Golden. Yeah. So congrats to them. And it's been a dominant tournament, dominant year for the SEC. This was the first hoops title in for the SEC conference since 2012. But they show how good they really are. It mattered. And like I said, for Houston, you gotta win the game. You gotta come up big in big spots. Gotta find a way. When they wasn't able to do it. Also for Clayton Jr., he had a pair of 3-point plays off drops to the hoop that kept Gates in striking range. Give him credit for that. A great defensive prowess by Florida. Like I said, not allowing um, a 3-point shot because that's what they were trying to do. Try to go for the three. That final sequence of that game. LJ Cryer had the ball. He was blinking about Will Richard. Then he threw the sharp. Was moving to the spot up for the three, but Clayton ran at him. So it's a great job. All right, so the Florida are the champs. Let's get some NBA. The NBA season is about to come to an end. It's coming on Sunday. The only thing that stands out to me is another crazy coaching firing by the NBA. Uh, this is Michael Malone of Denver Nuggets. He gets fired. Don't understand it. Again, who knows what's going on behind closed doors, whatever it is, but it don't make no sense for him to be fired. He fired the GM. But the team trying to get into the playoffs, win the championship. The time is not good because you got an interim coach now, coaching the team that can capable of winning the championship. It just don't make sense. David Adelman is going to be the coach now. They won last night. Had a 4-game losing streak that was snapped and beat Sacramento 124 to 116. Cole Jokic had his 33rd triple double, 20 points, 12 rebounds, 11 assists. So we're gonna see how they handle not having Michael Malone, not dealing with that same voice that they've been used to for a long period of time. But this is just crazy to have guys, get fired when you about to go to the playoffs, start the playoffs. This don't make sense. Now, there's sources that were saying that there was a long rift between Michael Malone and Calvin Booth, going to a Cold War over matters such as playing and developing younger players in the rotation and second unit. And yes, the Nuggets haven't been playing well since the All Star break. They were 12 and 13, and they were so saying that ownership wanted to make the change because the buyers were poor. The locker room wasn't responding on the defensive end, which had taken a dip. So, but still, you don't fire the coach. When you got to go into the playoffs. Like Malone had a very successful career, 471 wins, 327 losses, won the NBA championship in 2023 by a strong voice and toughness. Booth did a great job in drafting Christian Braun and Contavious Pope, Caldwell Pope, trading for him. So I just don't understand the move. Okay, these are sources that are saying this. Sources say that ownership made the moves, hopes to make the most of what man of the season to the Jokic and give Superstar a chance to turn things around, make a deep postseason run. Now Nuggets are currently what 48-32. See what happens. This is a strange, move. Like I said, I never seen nothing like this before. Who's getting, fired this late in the season. Denver is currently in fourth place, 48-32. They're tied for the same record with Clippers, 48-32. So about the postseason, man. Nothing else to get into. Right now, Cleveland's going to be the number one seed. OKC is going to be the number one seed. So that's all that matters right now is the postseason. That's all that matters as far as the NBA is concerned. So I'm just going to leave it at that. Keep moving. Major League Baseball recap quickly on that. Then I'll get into my understanding in sports history for April the 10th. Let's get into Major League Baseball news. The Cubs acquired lefty Tom Cosgrove from the Padres for cash. So it was a trade that took place today. Chicago Cubs acquired left-handed reliever Tom Cosgrove from the San Diego Padres on Thursday for cash considerations, optioned him to AAA. Let's get the standings. The Yankees are 7-5, but they don't have more wins than anybody. They have more wins than Toronto. Toronto's 8-6, but the Yankees are in first place. In the Central, Detroit Tigers playing pretty good. They're 7-5. They're in first place. Texas is 9-4. How about those Angels? They're 8-4. The National League, Philadelphia's 8-3. Mets are 8-4. The Chicago Cubs are 9-6 in first place. In San Diego, Padres are 10-3. How about those San Francisco Giants? They're 9-3. The Dodgers are 10-4 season. All right, so let's get into on this day in sports history. I'll close out. Also, check out new article that I wrote recently. Check it out on e5280sports.com. Check out the latest article that I wrote. It's out right now. All right, let's get into what took place in sports history for April 10th. We're going to start with some of the events, but not all. 1913, on April 10th, New York Highlanders played first Major League Baseball game as New York Yankees lose to the Washington Senators 2-1 at Griffin Stadium. President Woodrow Wilson throws out the first ball. 1947, Jackie Robinson, 1947 on April 10th, became the first black player of the 20th century to sign a Major League Baseball contract. Brooklyn GM Branch Rickey announced the Dodgers had bought Robinson's contract from the Montreal Royals. 1953, the NBA Championship Finals, Minneapolis Auditorium. The Minneapolis Lakers, beat the New York Knicks 91-84 for a 4-1 series victory. That was the Lakers at the time fifth title in 6 years. 1959, on April 10th, Chicago White Sox second baseman Nellie Fox got a Major League Baseball opening day record, tied for 5 hits, tying 5 hits and 7 at-bats, a 14-inning 9-7 win in Detroit. 1961, on April 10th, Washington Senators played first game in franchise history with President John F. Kennedy in attendance, losing a 4-3 decision to the Chicago White Sox. 1962, on April 10th, 52,564 fans attended the first Major League Baseball game in LA's Dodger Stadium at Chavez Ravine, a 6-3 loss to the Cincinnati Reds. 1962, the Coke 45s. Houston Coke 45s made their Major League debut with an 11-2 win over the Chicago Cubs at Coke Stadium. Outfielder Ramon Maijas hits a pair of 3-run homers. 1964, demolition begins in Upper Manhattan, New York City on Polo Grounds Sports Stadium, home to the Major League Baseball Giants, 1891 to 1850, 1891 to 1957, Mets, 1962, 1963, the Jets, 1963, 1960, 1963, New York Jets, to clear way for housing project. 1971, Philadelphia Phillies opened their new home Veterans Stadium on April 10th, the 4-1 win of the Montreal Expos, 55,352 attended, the largest ever crowd to watch a Major League Baseball game in Pennsylvania. 1973, Kansas City Royals opened their new park, Royals Stadium with 12-1 route of the Texas Rangers attendance 99,476. 1976, on April 10th, Cleveland Cavaliers won their first NBA Central Division title. 1977, Cleveland Indians set the record for the longest nine-inning game, 3 hours and 17 minutes. 1978, formation of Major Indoor Soccer League was announced. 1979, on April 10th, J.R. Richard of the Houston Astros pitched a complete game, setting the Major League Baseball record of throwing 6 wild pitches in 2-1 win over the LA Dodgers at the Astrodome. 1983, Baltimore's Eddie Murray hit his 1,000th career hit. 1991, on April 10th, Wayne Gretzky of the LA Kings scored NHL record 93rd playoff goal. 1993, the Pittsburgh Penguins won their NHL record 17-game winning streak. All right, so that's basically it from some of the events that took place on April 10th for this day in sports history. So that's it for tonight. Be back for episode number 47, 47th episode of Inside Sports with Rashad. Make sure episode number 47. This is episode number 46. Until then, have a good night.